Hello again. Today we are going to be working again, still on solving for those variables and again incorporating those fractions. These are signed fractions, and we're going to be incorporating several of the steps that we've learned in our earlier videos. So today we're going to be solving for y, finding the most simplified answer, and of course we start out by drawing that vertical line down the middle of our equal sign. Our job is to solve for this y. There's only one instance of it, so I'm just going to go ahead and write y down below. And I know the first thing that I need to do is get rid of everything except for what the variable has to deal with on that same side. So I see that I have a negative 2/3 here, and if it's negative, I need to use the opposite operation of a positive 2/3. Okay? I'm going to draw that horizontal line after our operation. Negative 2/3 plus 2/3 cancels out. I'm left with only 1/2 y is equal to negative 2/7 plus 2/3. Now, this time, we are going to have to do a little bit more multiplication to find our common denominators because, like I said before, it's our job to find those common denominators. We cannot just go ahead and add those together right off the bat, okay? As always, running out of room, but just like we do with our normal fraction math, let's go ahead and multiply the opposite fraction by the opposite's denominator. So I know that I can multiply this fraction by 3/3 and this fraction by 7/7. Okay? Let's bring down this 1/2 y and let's do this math. So negative 2 times 3 is 6, 7 times 3 is 21, plus 2 times 7 is 14 over that same denominator, 3 times 7, which is 21. Okay? Let's again go ahead and combine those like terms on our right-hand side. Negative 6 plus 14 is going to bring us into the positive 8/21, still with that 1/2 y. So the next part, we are again seeing that there is a fraction coefficient. Thinking back to a couple videos, we multiplied by the reciprocal of the fraction. Again, we could divide by 1/2 and we would get the same answer, but fraction division is a little trickier. So let's just go ahead and instead multiply by the reciprocal, which is 2/1. Anything I do to one side, I'm going to do to the opposite side. And I'm going to cancel those 2/1 and 1/2 out, and I am left with just y is equal to 8/21 times 2/1. Now, I am forgetting to draw my lines there, and let's go ahead and just multiply this right now. Remember, whenever we are multiplying fractions, we just go straight across. So 8 times 2 is 16, 21 times 1 is 21. So I know that we are done. We have simplified enough because 16/21 cannot be simplified down any further. There are no numbers that evenly get multiplied in to 16 or 21 to make that any smaller. So we are all set. Next up, let's go ahead and do one more example of this. Okay, we are again going to be solving for that variable y, but this time it is negative 4/5 is equal to negative 4/3 y minus 3/2. Straighten that out for us. And again, we are solving for y. As always, we draw that line right down the equal sign. And the same exact things, we are looking for where the y is located, which is right here, negative 4/3 y. We need to move anything else to the opposite side of the equation. So if I see that we have a negative 3/2 or 3/2, and that means that I need to add. Okay? This is going to cancel out, and I'm going to be left with negative 4 thirds y is equal to negative 4 over 5 plus 3 over 2. Now again, like we've been saying, we need to find those common denominators, so we're going to multiply the opposite fraction by the opposite fraction's denominator, okay? Which means on this side we're going to multiply by 2, on this side we're going to multiply by 5, okay? Let's go ahead and do this math, making sure we're drawing those horizontal lines. So we have negative 4 times 2 is negative 8 over 5 times 2, which is 10, plus 3 times 5 is 15 over that same denominator, 2 times 5, which is 10. Still equal to negative 4 thirds y. Let's go ahead and combine like terms on the left-hand side this time. Negative 8 plus 15 is going to land us with a negative 7, a positive 7 over 10, which is equal to negative 4 over 3y. Now again, remember we could divide by negative 4 thirds, but instead I'm going to multiply by the reciprocal. We're going to flip it over on its head, which is negative 3/4. And I'm going to do the same on both sides. Okay? Cancel, cancel. We end up with only y. And now, because I have on our left-hand side a negative times a positive, I know my answer is going to be a negative. And here we have negative 3 times 7, which is 21, over 4 times 10, which is 40. Again, I know that this is as simplified as it can be because negative 21 as well as 40, the only factors that go into both are 1, okay? So we are done. I hope you guys have a good night. I will see you in the morning.